To officially begin the session, I invite Dr. Habeeb C, Assistant Professor of English, for the welcome address. For the past 13 years, we have Dr. Habeeb C's expertise in our department, who is specialized in post-colonial discourse, disability studies, and Indian English writing. Over to you, sir.
Good morning, everybody. Respected Chair, the Head of the Department, Dr. Rizwana, Sultana, the inaugurator of the day, my beloved teacher and former HOD of English, Dr. Asha Ma'am, the keynote speaker today, Dr. Dalit sir, other dignitaries on and off the days, my dear friends, students and scholars, and Dr. Aisha Muhammed, the principal, in her absence because she is very busy with some other meeting. She may come here at some time. So for the next 2 days, we are having a very important seminar as a RUSA-funded project. The Department of English has a history of conducting many important intellectual discussions and seminars in the last few decades. And this is a very important area. We know that after cultural studies, one of the main factors evolved into the academia is that experience is a key factor in defining people and creating discourses. Thus, in the postmodern environment, we have a lot of people talking who were not able to define themselves, articulate themselves, and establish themselves. So Dalit literature is one of them, and in the coming 2 days, we have many experts, beginning with Dalit sir, one of the most established academicians and scholars in this field, to make the keynote address. And our scholars and students will be able to know the ABCs of Dalit aesthetics, Dalit theory, the importance of resilience, humiliation, and such concepts and their theoretical implications in the growth and evolution of Dalit literature. And of course, to speak about the experience and theory of any marginalized, it is not just writing or theory, but it is closely related to the pragmatic affairs and activism of such people. And I hope that this will be a very fruitful experience for all of you. At the outset, let me thank all of you for being a part of this program. Let me enter into my duty. My duty is to welcome all of you. At first, let me welcome Dr. Rizwana ma'am, the head of the Department of English. Under her headship, we know the English department is a hub of continuous activities from day one to today. We are engaging in student-centered, scholar-centered, and also providing many opportunities to the outside people, just like the FDP for HSST teachers that we are conducting here. She is always a strong enthusiast in conducting such programs and always motivate us, the teachers and students, very enthusiastically. So let me welcome Dr. is on this occasion to chair this function. And we have Dr. Asha ma'am, whom I consider one of my favorite, beloved teachers, who was always a source of inspiration for all of us, and who is a great scholar in literature, especially in post-colonial studies and all that. She had guided our principal, HOD, and a few others at the department at the fag end of her career, and she has always been a strong support to the Department of English. It is with great pride and privilege that I invite Asha ma'am to inaugurate this program, and I welcome her on behalf of all of you on this occasion. Now, Dalit discourse in Kerala is comparatively in an evolving phase in comparison with other places like Maharashtra or in other, in comparison to many other academic spaces. But one of the people who have given a very strong foundation and made it a very established academic discipline in Kerala is Dasan sir. Wherever we listen to him, he gives us something new, something striking, and something very effective. And it's with great pleasure. Of course, Dasan sir was our resource person on a few occasions in the past as well. But when we conceived the idea of Dalit literature seminar, we didn't have any doubt on deciding who should make the keynote address. So, with uh, wholehearted pleasure, I welcome Dasan sir on this occasion, and I welcome him and thank him for being our chief guest, irrespective of his busy schedule. And the seminar is possible because of the coordinated effort of all of the faculty, members of faculty at the department, research scholars, and our dear students, and those who have registered for the seminar. So I, at the outset, welcome all those who have made this possible. Our principal, Dr. Aisha ma'am, who was also a faculty of our department and was to be here right now, but she is engaged in some other meeting. Hope that she will be here at some time one of these days. So in her absence, I welcome her also on this occasion. Once more, welcoming all of you and on this very special occasion, and I hope that this will be a very fruitful occasion for all of us to refresh and to energize ourselves and to know what we are yet failing to know. So let me conclude my words. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Now I humbly request the head of the department, Dr. Rizwana Sultana, for the presidential address. She is the backbone of our department, who with her immense presence guide us all with her endurance.
Thank you, Tafa. Respected chief guest, but in fact, how should I put it? She is host and guest, Dr. Asha Muhammed, Professor Dr. Dalit sir, Dr. Habeeb, my dear colleagues, delegates from different colleges, my dear students, research scholars. The seminar has been a dream of the department. In fact, it's 2 years ago that the department has given a proposal to the principal for funds. And it's now in 2024 that we are sanctioned funds under RUSA. And so the day has come from a dream to reality. Now, as Dr. Habeeb has rightly put it, the department has a legacy of hosting conferences on various topics. And I was just thinking back, and then since the last decade, we have hosted 3 to 4 conferences on literature from the margin. And here we have, again, a 2-day national conference on Dalit literature, resistance and reconstruction, where we have coming together of people who are from the academia. Dalit sir is here, who is, as Habeeb said, when we were speaking about people for our seminar, the first name that came up in the discussion was Dalit sir to do the keynote because it is him in now we believe in the academia who will definitely do justice to the theme of the conference. We are so grateful to you, sir, that you have consented to come amidst the busy schedule that you have, and we are honored to have you, sir. And Dr. Asha Muhammed, my teacher, my philosopher, and my guide. You are that man. Maybe you don't, out of your humility, you will not say yes, but you are that to so many of us here. And when we thought of the inauguration, and the name, it's you from our former HODs that came to our mind. Because you were a champion of people in the margin, and all the texts that are in the margin, of course, definitely come into the sessions that you deal with. And you have inspired us to read a lot. And we still remember, I and Habeeb and our principal, Dr. Aisha Sopna, we are all students of Dr. Asha Muhammed, and we do remember the roundtable discussions that we used to have when you were amongst us. And we are from the bottom of our heart, the department and myself, we are grateful to you, ma'am, that you have made it happen. You have made to come here to inaugurate the conference. Here we have our Vice Principal, Dr. Abdul Jabbar. Sir, please come over to the stage. In the absence of our Principal, we are honored to have you, sir. Please. Our Principal, Dr. Aisha Sopna, she was here with us, but in between an emergency meeting has come up for her and she had to rush back. That's why. And of course, to fill the gap, we have a very vibrant Vice Principal, Dr. Abdul Jabbar sir. Thank you, sir, for coming over here. And all the heads of the department, here, Dr. Vishal is here. And we have soon after the keynote address and the inaugural session, we have a plenary session by Dr. Ajay Shekhar. And the theme of the plenary session is Dalit Voices and Early Literatures. And Dr. Ajay Shekhar is the right person to look at the history of Dalit literature in Kerala context. And we have here, he has already arrived, he'll be here very soon. And in the afternoon, we have a plenary session with the theme Contemporary Trends in Dalit Literature, and the address will be done by Dr. M.D. Manoj, Assistant Professor of Malayalam, University of Calicut. And tomorrow we have two sessions where we meet two poets in Dalit literature whom we have on our syllabus. PG students have poems by S. Joseph, poet. So we'll have an interactive session with the poets tomorrow. And we have parallel paper presentation sessions by scholars, students, and teachers across the country. And I'm really proud and grateful to welcome you all. Some of the scholars are attending online. And here is Ms. Tanya. She has come all the way from Inaugural to attend the conference, and I welcome you all to the conference. And now, my colleagues who have made this day possible from day one to day last, we are 14 in number now. All the 14, if I keep naming, maybe if I keep talking about them, it takes another 10 minutes. So I don't want to name anyone. With all happiness and all love, thanks to you all. And to my scholars, And one name I should pronounce here, and that is Miss Sherman. She is part and parcel of the organizing committee. Thank you, Sherman. And all the delegates from outside and the in-house delegates, first semester PG students, who I know the time we told them of the seminar, they are ready with their papers, they sent their abstracts, and yes, they registered. Now they have occupied their seats, waiting for the session to begin. So with these words as a few words of gratitude and introduction, let me conclude my words and leave the podium to the master in Dalit studies. Thank you.
I welcome the former HOD of English department, Dr. Asha Muhammed. She is a versatile teacher and she has specialized in Caribbean literature and has done her doctorate in the same under the guidance of Dr. Rizwana. It's interesting to note that she has guided both our principal and HOD for PhDs. She has published scholarly articles in many reputed journals and has presented papers at various national and international seminars. Over to you now.
Thank you. Yes. Honorable, I think I want to, okay, excuse me. The honorable guest of today, my classmate and friend, Dr. Dasan, the HOD and my research scholar, Dr. Rizwana, the principal, Dr. Aisha, the vice principal, Dr. Jabbar, and my friend and student, Dr. Habeeb. The students in the audience, the research scholars, ladies and gentlemen, good morning to one and all. I hope the mic is okay. Yes. Is it okay? Okay. So, first of all, I want to thank the organizers for giving me this opportunity to come and meet you. This is something that I have been missing in my retired life, and I'm very grateful, not only for the invitation, but for all the good words that have been spoken about me. I'm nothing of the kind. She described me as a philosopher. I'm just a garrulous old woman. That's all. So, and I hope you will listen very patiently to what I have to say. Anyway, for this greatness thrust upon me, I'm very grateful. Now, this audiovisual theater is one that holds very colorful memories for me. They're all etched, all those memories are etched on the inner screen. I underscore the word colorful because these colors are no longer visible to my external eye. I close my eyes to know the colors. Now, I'm not saying this to arouse your sympathy. I am saying this to underline the fact that you should realize the importance of the five senses that you have. You should cherish them, nourish them, and use them both for your own well-being as well as for the well-being of the people around you. With this morsel of advice, I come to the task that has been assigned to me to inaugurate the seminar on Dalit literature. Now, the term Dalit is a little bit difficult to define because the Dalits in India are not a homogeneous group. They come from different locations, geographical locations. They speak different languages, dialects. They have their own professions. Now, when you come to the term professions, I have to say a little bit more. They have their own professions, they have their own traditions and customs and beliefs, and their own literature in the oral tradition, which has been there for generations. Now, the so-called professions were more or less assigned to them in the centuries past. See, you talk about traditions being carried out. So, certain professions were considered menial by the upper caste, and they were sort of thrust upon these people, and they were made to do those work. They were denied social justice on the basis of what they were doing. Without them, the others couldn't survive, but they were told that they have to do this because they have done something in their previous birth which has made them Dalit instead of one of the upper castes. This is how it has been going on over the centuries. Ironically, however, the situation now has not changed very dramatically or has not changed greatly, to put it mildly, in spite of the fact that we swear by a constitution whose chief architect was a Dalit. The situation of the Dalits leaves much to be desired. To date, there have been at least 3 presidents of the Dalit community. But how much have they been able to do for improving the justice, of improving the conditions of the Dalits in India? So this is one question that is posed before us. And now, unfortunately, what you see now is something which is very, very disturbing. The rising fascism in the country, which is going back to traditions. Of course, traditions are valuable, history is valuable, but you should take lessons from history. You should keep those things which are really good and do away with those things which have to be corrected. So, to go back to theories like Manu Samhita and deny Varnashrama and things like that, to justify your actions is something very, very stupid, if I may say so. So, to come back to what I was saying, Dalit literature itself is something which is, the term Dalit itself, before that, is of recent origin. Gandhiji referred to them as Harijans, the people of God. But there is something patronizing about the term. That's why they prefer to use the term Dalit instead of Harijan. Now, if you look at the people of the community, you would see that they are, as I told you, not homogeneous. They are wide, varied. Now, one thing that they have in common, in spite of all the differences, is the suppression that they have to suffer, the marginalization that they have to suffer on account of the caste. This is that which is common to all the Dalits in India. Now, if you look at the dialects that they speak, you see their traditional folk songs, their traditional legends were there even before, but they were all in the oral tradition. And unfortunately, the people of the mainstream, they used to consider these dialects as something crude and uncivilized. Now, you can see the greatest poets being actually guilty of this particular fact. I have heard Professor Karisheri once commenting in one of his talks of how even the father of Malayalam poetry, Tunjat Eluthachan, is not free from this particular guilt. For example, what he uses is, he uses the language, the dialect of the Adivasi girl, puts it into the mouth of a character like Shurpanaga. Shurpanaga is not exactly a good character. Now, good within inverted commas. Goodness and badness are all relative. To quote Shakespeare, there is nothing either good or bad, but thinking makes it so. So anyway, Shurpanaga has been made to speak in the Adivasi dialect to imply the fact that she is a Rakshasi, that she is one of the crude people, implying that their very dialects are crude. Who are the others to decide what is crude and what is civilized? And this is a very crucial point. Now, the situation of the Dalits is very similar to what Franz Fanon describes in The Wretched of the Earth. The Wretched of the Earth actually focuses upon the descendants of the black people, the black slaves who were taken to the Caribbean and Latin American countries to work there. Now, if you look at these people, you would see that they were separated, they were uprooted from their own culture, made just like cattle, taken to another country, made to work there. Finally, emancipation came to them. In spite of emancipation, their shackles were still there. The shackles of the shackles of physical freedom they could remove, but the intellectual shackles were still there. Now, one of the ploys that the colonial masters made use of was to make these people feel ashamed of their color, ashamed of their culture, ashamed of who they were. So, by implying that the culture, the color, the lifestyle, everything of the colonial masters was superior to theirs. This is one thing that is common to the Dalits of our country also. You see, even if they get education, even in spite of whatever reservations they get, they are made to feel that they somehow are inferior. This is one great uh, thing that this is one great mistake they should fight against, and they are doing it. They are doing it every day through literature, through the stands that they take. They are doing it every day. Now, what happens is that very often, once something that the Dalits have started becomes popular, the mainstream hijacks that. Now, one particular point that has been mentioned by the folklorist Raghavan Payyanad in one of his books. He refers to how deification takes place in societies. A certain incident happens in a society. Somebody, maybe in the Dalit community, somebody becomes a martyr to a cause. Thereafter, folk songs and legends arise. Afterwards, he becomes deified. He becomes an object of worship. People start worshipping him. Now, at a point, other communities also come to worship this deity. Then what happens? Then, once the deity becomes popular, the upper caste come in. Then, the very deity is given a new name. A Sanskritized name is given to the deity. And a shrine is built for the deity. Thereafter, Brahmin priests are appointed to chant mantras. And even the offerings made to the deity become different. Earlier, they used to offer food that they ate. Rice, meat, fish, toddy was offered to the deity. But once the upper caste takes over, what they do is they offer only those things that they eat. Naturally, the food is not eaten by the deity. It is offered, it is given back to the devotees as prasad. So, in order to eat that, they have to offer food such as they eat. So, afterwards, what happens is that the deity gets a new name, a Sanskritized name. The mantras become Sanskrit, and the people who chant the mantras are the upper caste, and ultimately, the Dalit and the other communities whose ancestor the deities have to stand from far and worship the deity. This has been going on for a long, long time. So this is something that has to be resisted. Now coming back to Dalit literature. Now at present, Dalit literature is written in regional languages, different languages in India. The very term Dalit became popular through a group of social activists called the Dalit Panthers in Mumbai. They were a social aggressive activist group. It is they who resented the sort of what you call hegemony which was implemented or which was put upon them, which was thrust upon the Dalit community, and they resisted that. At present, there are many writers. Many writers are there who are actively involved in this protest and resilience, and I'm sure the seminar will shed light on that. Now, another thing that you have to understand is that you should develop, there should be a new aesthetic to understand Dalit poetry, Dalit literature, everything that the Dalit writes. You can't measure the greatness or the what you call the grade of that by using standards which have been set by the upper stream community. It's not possible to do that. Just as the feminists required a new poetics to understand writing by women, so also a new aesthetic has to be developed. Now, one step in this direction has been made by Limbali, Sharan Kumar Limbali. He is one who vociferously demands for a new aesthetic for Dalits. This Akramashi, I don't know whether I have got the Akarmashi right, whether the pronunciation is right, or half caste, that is the what you call the translation of it. He sheds light on this particular aspect. So these are some of the observations that I wanted to make. I am no expert on Dalit literature. I have only the reading knowledge of it. What do you call a little bit of knowledge is what I have on it. My friend Dr. Dasit is an expert on it, and I'm sure he'll be able to shed more light on it. And you have here, I hope the 2 day seminar would be extremely useful to you in the sense that it will provide many answers to the questions. Questions are there, but the answers are not likely to be conclusive. We are not looking for conclusive answers. We are looking for answers which leave scope for discussion, for inquiry and elucidation. So without any more ado, I conclude my words. I formally inaugurate the 2 day seminar on Dalit literature. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, ma'am. You mesmerize us with your presence.